back to, we still don't know what episode this is. He's like, I don't really want to be here, Mum. I know, but you do want to say hello to the people of the Serenity and Knitting Society podcast, where we don't normally convince our cats to come on the screen. Say hi to peoples. Wonder if he'll sit up the back. Do you want to sit up there? Things I could have tried before turning on the camera. I'm Alex. This is actually a knitting podcast. He's like, I don't know if I really want to do this. Would you just maybe sit with me for like 3 minutes? He's like, if you cuddle me, I might stay. This is a knitting society. I mean, it is. This is a knitting podcast based out of northeast coast, New South Wales. We're in Australia. All right, that was a little bit hectic, but I just really wanted him to be part of the thing. He wants to eat the yarn. Okay, for those of you who were here before and now you're here again, this is going to be the whip section of whatever this is. So it's like, whatever the last episode was, part A, this is part B. There had been about 2 hours lapsed between my last episode and this thing, so we're all on the same day. I decided to put on a new jumper. It looks good, not gonna lie, better than I thought it did. So I might as well show it to you. This is, I spoke about it in my last video, so if you want to know all the details, like, just revert back to that one. For those of you that's already seen that, cute, right? I've got a stripy shirt underneath, lots of stripes. So it's quite fitted in the arms and very tapered. I'm happy with it, thrilled. But you can see what I mean about it being a very like, it's okay. And the more I wear it, the more it like settles a bit. But he's like, I can smell this yarn in this bag. Just fucking give it to me. I have all my yarn for this episode. Not all my yarn. He's like, give it to me. He's trying to get it. In this really cute bag that says, oh, I'm going to assume you can read this because when I see it, it looks back the front. Baby, don't do that, please. Christ. I'm going to assume you can read this, but just in case it's back the front on your screen too, it says, read books, drink tea, be happy. Now, if they had one that included knitting on here, kittens, baby. All right, well, welcome back. And if this is your first time seeing this, what you might want to know is there's a video before this one. I already said I'm Alex. The cat thing threw me off, guys. I really wanted him. It's hard in this setup for him to be part of the story, and there's nowhere for him to be. So he's just about to climb into the washing basket. Very cute. If you like, oh, there he goes. Is he in? Oh yes, sometimes when there's not a lot of washing in the washing basket, he actually just like jumps up thinking there's going to be a soft landing and then just thuds into the bottom or even knocks the whole thing over. It's quite hilarious. I was waiting for it to do that. Okay, if you want more cat content, I highly recommend you check out my Instagram. This is not really a plug. I'm not that all interested in like growing my Instagram, but if you like cats and knitting, and traveling, actually, mostly I've just had a lot of travel stuff on there, but if you like cats, Buddy spends a lot more time on the Instagram because it's a lot easier to, now there's hair in my eyeballs, guys, you know the drill. Wow, I actually got that first time, amazing. It's easier for me to like take a cute photo of him having a nap than it is with this setup, so it's less Buddy conducive. The last place that I was sitting was easier. I don't know, I'm going to play around with it, but I like how this looks in the frame. I got an iPad. I just call it, my cousin used to call it a iPad, so that and my head pods. I got an iPad and I'm filming on that, so I'm just hoping that this all works and I haven't just spent 3 hours of my life podcasting to no one, but it's been entertaining anyway. And it's interesting to see, like, energetically, like, having so close to the time, how I feel, like, in comparison. Very interesting. Anyway, this is the knitting podcast. So what you might need to know is I had originally started recording thinking I was going to do all of my finished objects and then my whips in one video and then do acquisitions in another video. I got to like an hour and a half and it's just me. And I had just finished my finished objects and I thought it's been like 6 months. It's a bit unreasonable to try and fit that all into one video. It'd actually probably be fine. I know that there are some of you that you were sitting there like, Alex, we would have stayed. Like I know some of you were. But just in case, there's some people who might prefer to have it split up. And also I had an appointment, that too. I just thought, you know what, fuck it. I'll make 2 videos. It's all fine. So if you haven't watched the first one, you can do whatever you want, God bless you. It might be easier though, because I might reference things that I just spoke about that I'm not going to speak about again, including this sweater, because I literally just spoke about it like an hour and a half ago. Gosh. Okay. There is something. Oh no. So just so you know, I don't edit. Just in case that wasn't super clear. So we're just rolling with it. But the reason I like it is because it's kind of like we're hanging out, you know? Like a really long letter with a few bits that get crossed out and then go, this is what I meant to say. Righto, whips, let's do it. Where to start? Good gravy. Okay. The reason I'm pausing is because it's quite a mound of things. And I feel like we need to all center ourselves. Do you have a coffee or a tea or a water or something? I'm going to recommend it. Totally up to you. I've got 2 here because I figured one wasn't going to be enough. Okay. Let's just start. So I tend to catch on to knitting trends, just trends in general actually. It's not really late. Like, you know how everyone was into Noah Khan and there was the song Stick Season and it was like really, really massive. About 12 months later, I became obsessed with that song and then the whole album. But it was like when it was cool, I didn't even hear it. And then I found out about it and everyone was like, yeah, man, like he's only one of the biggest like music writers of the day at the moment. And this was news to me. I have done the same with the Half and Half Triangles rap. Look, better late than never is all I'm saying. Oh, you know what I should have done? Actually I might have it here. We'll see. Anyway, I started one. I really wanted to start one last year and I can't remember why I didn't. I don't know, can't remember. And then this year I did. So I don't understand how people bang these out. Now, in fairness, I'm not a monogamous knitter. This is a smallish needle for me. Not small. I'm pretty okay with a 3mm needle, like a 3.5, 4mm needle. I'm okay with that. I don't mind the quantity. This was, I think, knit on a 4, I think. Anyway. Maybe not actually. That could be a total lie. It's knit on whatever the weekend is knit on. So if I've lied, it was an accident. Anyway, I'll show you where I'm up to. Now, if there are those of you like me who had seen these and thought they were awesome, but thought it was too big of a deal, it's cool. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, because that's totally fine too, this is a free pattern by Purl Soho. It is a fucking giant wrap that, I'm doing the striped version, if that's not super obvious. It probably isn't yet. There's a version where you do one half of the triangle one way, one half of the triangle the other way, and it's done using short rows. I'm using German short rows, but it's written with wrap and turn short rows. There's tutorials for how to change that. If you don't know how to do that, you can look up the tutorial. I you know what? I was meaning to talk to you guys about this because I would like some advice. This is why I have a YouTube. To be honest, can I tell you honestly, 95% of why I have a YouTube channel is because I need to ask people questions about my knitting. It's like my virtual version of a knitting group. I don't have a knitting group. I'd love to have a knitting group. I don't have one. And instead of having one, I just talk to random people on the internet, and it's working great. I am honestly going pretty well. This is a slow project, if that's not super obvious. You cast on along the very, very long edge. I am a wee bit concerned that perhaps I'm off gauge, and so it's going to be giant. I'm already concerned about a number of things with this. I love I'm like, where do I even start with this? Guys, I have so many whips. I love the long garter rows. What I don't love is metal needles. These are chow goos. If you love chow goos, no shade, man. I'm cool with them. I prefer a wooden needle. There's actually something, people like the slipperiness of a metal needle. I don't really particularly like that. I like the slight, very slight grab and texture of a wooden needle. My preference, I love the liquor needles. I don't know if it's just because they're the ones I started on, but I think, look, if I'm honest, there's a big part of it that's about the aesthetic. I love the way, I wonder if I've got some here that I can show you. Yeah, here I got some big ass ones. I don't know if it's, look, there's a part of me that just aesthetically loves the way they look. Not gonna lie. But I also like that it's not really a slip. Like, they're not grabby. I'm just telling you what they're not and then contradicting myself. Oh, the fluff. They're smooth, but not slippery. So I feel like mostly my stitches slide along them, but they're not like flying off. Here, I often feel like they're almost unstable. And for me, that, I don't know, it's just, there's something about it that feels a bit more like clinical. It sounds ridiculous when you're saying knitting, but that's just how it feels. I don't have a cord that's long enough for this project, other than this one. Normal people would just go out and buy another cord, but I really, really, really dislike spending money on like shipping for tiny things. So next time I'm putting in an order, if I remember to be somewhere and get a long cord, I also desperately want some of those barber cables. You know, the ones that you stick on the end? The gorgeous Francesca of she's the Italian knitter. When I met with her in Italy, she just gave me one, which was amazing, and it was very sweet. I think I tried to argue a little bit, but she's like, just take the fucking thing. It was great, thank you. And I use it all the time. But I would love, I want to get some more. But do you think I would put in an order for them? No, because that would involve paying shipping, and I just don't want to. So next time I put in, and then it's all, you know what, and it's always that the place that I want to buy yarn from doesn't have the weird little thing I need. Anyway, doesn't matter. So I think I would actually knit on this more if I had needles that felt more comfortable in my hand. I think it would increase how much I knit on it, because I love the long garter rows. I just don't particularly enjoy this experience. I also think they're really pointy, this experience. I think they're sharp, and I don't know, it's just not my jam. But look, I can't say I'm not enjoying it. I'm knitting it out of linen quill. That is a fucking dream. I was worried it would be, I don't know what I was worried about. I was worried it wouldn't be my thing. I am such a big fan. I'll see if I can find all the colors. What I want to tell you about it is it's huge. So one, I'm worried it's too big. I will use it as a blanket worst case scenario. Two, I'm concerned about my color choice. I'd like some help if you have some suggestions. Please help me, please. I'm concerned about my colour choice. I think I made a mild misstep, but I think it's possible to sort it out. I'm also concerned that I'm a person who tends to wear plain things. So whenever I buy something or I've knitted something that's in multiple colours, I don't wear it as much as when I have something that's just like plain with stripes or like one singular colour. And in hindsight, I chose this one because it meant I could have as many colours as I wanted. In hindsight, it might have been better for me to do a 2-colour one because I'm more likely to wear it. Oops. I'm concerned that I'm going to do all this knitting, it's going to sit in a corner. We'll never know if we don't try. Also, just had a thought. Did you watch that happen? Must be so weird on the other. I mean, not so weird, I watch happen for other people, but it's just weird because I'm like watching myself. I could use this as my meditation shawl. I was just saying, I was thinking about doing my meditation shawl in a Nutiden, like one of those giant triangle ones that you just like snuggle into. But maybe this is my meditation shawl and I just didn't know it yet. Okay, so all that aside, I love it. I love the actual process of knitting it. It's going to take me 1,000 years. I'm okay with that. This is my I don't have anything to knit / I'm in a uni lecture / there's a work event that I'm online that I'm trying to like not pretend like I'm concentrating on. That's not true, but sometimes there are. I have done a little slip stitch. I slip 2 at the end of every row, 2 with the yarn in front. The last 2, I hold the yarn in front and I slip them. Thought I better make that really clear. This dark forest green colour is delightful. I like, this is called Reed Grey. Very nice. I accidentally bought 2 of these and I almost didn't use it for this to turn it into something else, but I'm glad I did. It's a nice colour, but it's not as soft as I find this green softer, which is funny because I had other people say the opposite. Anyway, I'll show you the rest of my colours. I would like, if you have any suggestions, I'm super open for it. I bought these online because they're from Purl Soho, which is a US company. If you're in Australia and you're curious about trying Purl Soho, here's my little tipperoo. My little tipperoo is, they often do a 20% off sale of at least one of their bases, and at some point they also just do like a whole 20% off. Maths is not my thing, but what I have worked out is kind of sort of. When you take 20% off an American dollar, now this is not totally, this is just average, approximate. Let's say 20%, they're normally like about $20 this per skein. Okay, maths is not my strong suit, so let's just slow this down for a second. One skein, approximately $20 US. When you take 20% off that, it works out a little bit closer to being Australian dollar, approximately $20 per skein, so that the conversion rate is a little softer. If this is wrong, no one can blame me. Please don't. You can gently tell me in the comments if you want to, but please don't make fun of me in the comments. But this is the knitter math that my brain has worked out. If you get the 20% off sale, it almost works out in Australian dollar. So it's not even like you're paying a ridiculous amount for American yarn. Basically, what I worked out was when I put in an order from Purl Soho, often I pay less money for yarn than I would pay if I had ordered from an Australian brand with free shipping or like not a lot of shipping. It's like same. So I might as well get the Purl Soho. I really want to try their quartz base. It was 20% off recently and I didn't do it because I've just been to Bali and I'm really just like trying to settle it down a little bit, but it looks beautiful. Okay, so let me see what I can find in here. What do we got? Okay, so just so you know, this linen quill, this is, now if you haven't heard of it, it's okay. 50% fine Highland wool, 30% alpaca, 15% linen. Delightful. So this is the oatmeal grey. Did I say reed grey? I apologise. I think it's the oatmeal grey. So I've got 2 of those. And then, okay, it's right down the bottom. This is beautiful. Pale oats. This is where I got confused. That is just stunning. I know it. And your brain is going, wait, what, Alex? It's just cream. I don't know, guys. It's beautiful. Like, that's beautiful. I don't know. Yeah, that's what's happening there. And then I'll try and hold them all up together at some point. And then I've got, oh, I did put it in here. Excellent. That'll go in my acquisitions. Then I got rosewood pink. You know what? That's not as intense as I thought. I'll tell you what I'm thinking about this one in a minute. Oops, no, that's not the right one. Oh, yes. This is, I can't remember. I'll put it down below. I think it's peony pink, almost sure. And then I had bought, because you need 6 colours. Well, they recommend 6 colours. And this one is called, oh, I think it's rose quartz. This one's rose quartz. Okay. So here's the sitch. These guys, hold on, let me see how to do this. Yeah. Okay, hang on. This could be a fun exercise. These guys plus these guys. Now here's how this works. Oh, it's pretty nice. What I'm concerned about is I like this colour. It just doesn't really feel like it's fitting so great. It just doesn't feel like it's fitting so great. It feels like it's too red. And I get a bit of a Christmas feeling. It just feels like it's too red. And I'm worried that if I put this next to one of these, I'm going to feel like it's fields of candy canes. I just feel like, but it's funny because that is this color. Same. And I love this color, but this just feels, it's more red than this. Just barely. I need it to be a bit more purple. This is the downside of buying yarn online. It's fine. It's a nice color. When I look at it by itself, I'm like, yeah, it's nice, but it's too red for my taste. I just don't think it's going to look great on me. I had a mustard yellow, which I gave my mother. That could have been premature, but it's fine. I could order, hypothetically, I could order another skein of like a lavendery color. But again, I don't want to order just one skein. I'm going to pay more in shipping than I am in anything else. So like, I mean, if I have to put another order, oh no, how terrible. But I could. Or, all right, next option. I could do, because you do 3 colors on either side. 1, 2, 3. I mean, I love that. 1, 2, 3. And then on the other side, use this color again, 1, 2, 3. Now, on the second side, they're tiny, like micro stripes. I still think it could look pretty good. I'm worried that these two are too far apart, but I also think this becomes like a bit of a pop. As I'm saying it to myself, I'm saying this is great. Now that I'm talking to you, I feel like it's pretty good. But if you do have any suggestions, / you've got any opinions, if I need more of this color too, so this is the other thing, is if I need more of this color, I have this very, very, very similar, like very similar. And it's even similar in construction. Yarn from Skein Yarn Australia. I don't know if they're called Yarn Australia, but they're called Skein, and they're an Australian yarn company. I have heaps of this because I originally bought enough to make a pink fizz. And then I actually didn't like how it knit up. And it's interesting. It's 100% alpaca and a little bit of linen, I'm pretty sure. Did I just make that up? Or is it 100% alpaca? I think it's 100% alpaca. I love how I just made that up and then questioned myself. I'm pretty sure it's 100% alpaca. There's something about that doesn't I don't like as much as this. And I think that because this has a bit of wool content, it's a little plumpier, whereas this kind of gets a little bit slicker. It's like it needs a bit of dry shampoo. This is like alpaca with dry shampoo. I feel sad because I really like this colour. I like this yarn. I don't really know what to do with it. So worst case scenario, I'm actually going to use this for half and half at some point probably, or just knit it into something. It's beautiful. It just wasn't what I wanted for the project that I wanted it for, and I'm not sure what to do with it. So I've shown it a few times. I'm still confused. I think I have like 10 balls. I've got at least 7. I've got heaps. But I don't know if it's a colour that I don't know, guys. It's lovely. I just don't know what to do with it. So if I needed more of this colour, I could substitute a bit of this because it's very, very, very similar. So that's the other option, is if I wanted to do this, I could even take this colour out and just kind of do it like a really simple, maybe like 4 colour palette. Because I'm worried if there's too much going on, I won't wear it. That's the truth. All right, I don't know. Non lo so. For those who don't know, I'm trying to learn Italian. And occasionally I just randomly say Italian phrases that may or may not be correct. It's driving my husband insane. But yeah, look, I think I would be a lot faster with this if I changed my needles. And I think that I should really just bite the bullet and do that, because I really enjoy knitting on this project. I just don't like the way that the needles feel. Just doesn't do it for me. But I actually like the project itself, and I think it would be more enjoyable for me if I had the tool that felt good in my hand. I'm very tactile, as I'm sure many of us are, given this thing that we're doing here. I'm going to close that back up for the moment. And then if Buddy comes back in, we might have to panic. But yeah, look, I like this. It just feels too dark and too Christmassy. And if I put it next to the green, it's going to feel like Christmas. And if I put it on the other side, I'm worried it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it fits. Which is a shame. Because it's beautiful, but it's more of a red rosewood. It's not rosewood, isn't it, kind of a red? I just thought it'd be a bit more mauvey. And so anyway, that's where we are with it. So sometimes I feel a bit sad with scenarios like this, because I'm like, well, what are we going to do with this guy? I don't like them not to have homes. I'm okay with like a random special skein, but I don't like things not to have homes. It makes me a bit sad. Like lost little puppies. Okay, so that's my half and half striped triangles wrap. I'm not going to update every single time unless I've made some significant progress on that. I probably won't. I do think that once I finish my next one of the projects that I'm going to show you, once I finish that, I don't actually have anything really major in the pipeline. So I have a couple of random things. I have a lot of whips, and some of them are a bit random. Okay, so I will show you. Speaking of one that's a bit random. Oh, ma che cazzo. Oh, motherfucker. Sorry. Oh no, where did I put the stinking freaking... Oh guys, I don't know where I put the marker. Shiitake mushrooms. Do you think, you know, ye olde nannies used to swear as much as that when they were knitting? I like to think so. Now, I want you all to know that this is totally my fault that all of that happened. I'm going to have to check the pattern for that, because do you want to know how I just left this? Like, and it's been like this for a while. Guys, chaos. She's chaos incarnate. I just left it like this. The truth is that I was trying to wash and block it, and I didn't want to get my wooden needles wet, so I just took it off and went, oh, it'll be fine. And then I just left it like that. So I really have, you know, I'm asking for it. Okay, I'm going to have to see. I don't know where that's meant to be. Anyway, we'll work it out. This is, I can't remember. It's by Esisode, and I think it's the Autumn Tail Shawl. I've actually gotten significantly further through this than I thought. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, like I was thinking to myself, wow, that looks a little sad. This gets better. So it's knit with one strand of Nutiden, and I'm knitting it in the colorway Frenzy. I'm making up how you say that, by the way. Frenzy? And it means frenzy. And it's this beautiful blue lilac color, and I'm knitting it single stranded. For you not familiar with, that looks like this. It's just flump. It's just a giant thread of angel flump. And it's a little bit tricky, not horrifically, but there are bits of it, and I'm gonna have to go back through, that are like hanging on by a thread. So I don't know how well you can see it, so I'm just gonna hold it up real close. There are bits that are a little bit less secure than others. And I have gone back, there were some bits down here that were a bit, like there were like a couple of holes that had formed. And I went back and just what's that stitch called? Duplicate stitched very lightly over. I have learnt my lesson now that it's easier to actually just break it, find a bit that's thicker, and then keep knitting, or splice everything, but it's fine. I wanted to block it because A, I wanted to learn if that was going to be an issue. I didn't want to end up with a whole bunch of things, and B, I wanted to get a bit of a sense for actually how the fabric was going to feel. And if you're thinking it looks a bit sad, I'll be honest, I feel the same way. But what this shawl has really, really beautifully, and why I was so attracted to it, is the finished, actually hang on, where's my phone? It's in my pocket. Here, I'll show you. I can do that now because I have an iPad. Let me find the picture. Okay. Wait. Aspetta. It's thinking. Okay, I have the pattern here. Okay. Let me see if I can show you. Okay. So see here. See how it has that beautiful like braid? Guys, shiny. I'm sorry. I'm learning. See how it has the braid down the side? Beautiful. So what I liked about this is the wingspan and the depth. I feel like it has a similar shape, not the same, similar shape to the fleur, but it's made out of Nutiden, and it's going to have the braiding on the edge, which I want to pretend like I'm a person who reads all the way through a pattern, but we all know I'm not. We all know that that's not true. But I think might have something to do with crochet from memory. It's going to have that to anchor it. So right now, I feel like it looks really sad. I feel like it looks really flimsy. I feel like it's just not given off the vibe I want it to. But I think by the time it has that, with the color and the drape, I think it's going to be lovely. Because Nutiden is significantly more drapey than I thought. And what I've found is the more that I wear it, the more that it wears in. At the moment, I think it's a little stiff and kind of crumpled because I did block it. Buddy then slept on it quite a bit. I'm not saying that's added to the scenario, it's just a fun fact. And so I need to continue. Now I have to double check, but I think I need to continue until it's probably about this big. So I've still got a little way to go. But this is enjoyable. The thing that for me with this is I need to be sitting down for a long period of time somewhere where I can have my little loaf. And so I haven't been working on this one as much because I have to be quite gentle. So this is normally what I do. I don't actually normally walk around completely unhinged. I just kind of tie them a little bit and then kind of, you know, shove them back in and kind of create a little looparoo. It's not completely unhinged, but a little bit. Just enough to make life fun, you know? So I think this is going to be lovely. I am a little concerned about some spots that are looking a little bit frail. I think I could improve on watching that as it happens. What I don't like about knitting this is that I do have to look when I'm knitting it. I can't, it's like really mindful knitting, which I want to note is normally a great thing. But when it's not a project that I can pick up when I'm tired. It's not a project that I can pick up when I have to be in a lecture or on a work meeting. It's something where I sit outside on my deck, I have it all there, and I'm really consciously knitting, and it's beautiful. It's something that I set aside time for, but I don't often have space and time for. Not often. Anyway, you know what I mean. It's not the one that I run to pick up for that. It's the one that I go, ooh, now is some knitting time. And also have another project that I'm just like, it's so delicious that this one is taking a little bit of a backseat. But I love it. And I did, I cast it on the last, oh, I didn't even tell you like the whole story behind it. Just remembered it. I cast it on the last full moon, which was in Virgo. And I'd already decided to name it my Hecate shawl. So, oh my gosh, I just totally forgot the entire freaking story about this thing. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. The whole reason I started this project. So I have been, and I spoke about in my last video generally, thematically. Sorry, that's my low power mode. Crap. We'll see how long this lasts before it dies. Where was I going with that? Yes, I talked about in the last video that I'm talking thematically, but I was going through a period in my life that was very crossroads-esque. It was very, in fact, I think I'm still a little bit there. It's a liminal space. I'm navigating some liminal spaces in my life, and I'm going to assume you've been in some. I think it's reasonably safe. If you haven't, just wait. It's fucking uncomfortable, guys. Like, it's the bit where you're, and if you're not familiar with those words that I mean, I suppose what I'm saying is it's the bit where you're not quite a caterpillar and you're not a butterfly and you're in the cocoon and it's real dark and you're just kind of cellular goop and you have no idea what's going on. For me, this is a deeply spiritual time that is deeply uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. And I've been there for a while. And I think that it's something that for me, when I look into a goddess energy, and if you're new here, this is a thing that I really enjoy incorporating into I feel like for me, knitting is both a creative and spiritual practice. To me, one and the same. And so for me, the goddess of Hecate, she is a Greek goddess. She has a kind of witchy flavor. She was the queen of the witches, and she has a feminine, but like a dark feminine. And when I say that, just in case you're not familiar with that terminology, we're not talking bad, we're not talking evil. We're saying like fierce divine grace, fierce divine love, right? Because this is not the purpose of my podcast, I won't go into a giant rant about that. If you're interested, go check it out. There's some cool stuff. But she is this energy of, for me in this, she's the energy of a lot of things, but for me in this, she's the energy of like reclaiming the power in the liminal space, you know, being really open to the limitless possibility of those times and really getting comfortable in the hallways of life, that sometimes there are spaces where it's not clear which door's going to open and you can bang on them all if you want to, or you can try and force them open. But, you know, it was suggested to me once that I get comfortable in the hallway. I decorate the hallway. And so for me, on the day that I started this, and I didn't know this, it was a Virgo full moon, but there was also a, oh, I can't remember exactly what it was. The asteroid Hecate. I'm not by any means an astrologer. I know nothing about it. I'm doing my best to learn. But she, I think, was conjunct the full moon. Anyway, I just remember there was quite a significant astrological event related to Hecate the asteroid on the same day, and I didn't know that. It just was But I purposefully had this on the full moon because I just was feeling witchy. Like, I was in the mood. And Hecate was my girl. And yeah, I just like this. I like, from a very different direction, I like the way that purple and grey look together. And purple is a colour that's often associated with Hecate. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that feels like wants to be shared about that. I think for me, I think the concept of Hecate too is it's like reclaiming this kind of like unconditional authenticity. And it's something I struggle with in particular, like in a lot of places, but I think it was part of what stopped me from recording another podcast sooner, you know what I mean, sooner than I did. And part of that was, I wasn't planning to think about this, but I'm here, so that's how this stuff works for me. I think that for me, it was like, okay, is this still authentic for me to show up like this? Like, is this still something that feels true for me? Is this about, you know, like, am I doing this to seek external validation? Am I doing this because I started it when I was, you know, like 2 years ago in a different place of my life? Like, is it still true to continue it? And that question will be continuously open to me because I really think that I don't ever want to show up anywhere and have it not be real. And that's going to be hard to do. I'm sure there's going to be times where I do that. I don't hold myself to any perfect standard there, but I really wanted to consider, like, is this still something that sings to me, you know? And I think the way that I approach it now, and I hope to continue to approach it, is when I feel like doing it, great. When I don't, okay, cool. It's not about a algorithm or a, you know, the Instagrams. It's not about all those things. It's like, hey, there's something I've got to share and I want to share it with some people. And yeah, and if that ever stops becoming true, even if 5 seconds after I finish this, I decide I don't want to post it anymore, okay, that's fine. Because, you know, I don't know, I just think that's really important. I'm no longer here for things that don't feel true and aligned. And I think for me, Hecate has that kind of vibe where it's like, if I'm going to be weird and authentic and a little bit out there, great. Like, is it true? Is it real for me? You know, and not true for someone else, but true for me. And I think that it's about embracing all the weird, wacky, wonderful, magical, you know, hidden parts of ourselves. And yeah, that's something I feel like I could definitely embody more. And I think that really could be a, I don't know, energy to work for me. So yeah, Hecate! Also, I don't know, there's this witchy vibe that I feel like is powerful. And I'm here for it. So that is my Hecate sweater. I am hot, so I need to take this one off because seriously, team, it's about 25 degrees. And I'm wearing a Highlandy wool sweater. Okay, removal. All right, that's a little bit better. I wonder if do I have any other knits that I could just like snuggle into? Feels weird to be on a knitting podcast and not have any knits on. Plus it's like just slightly cool. Okay, hang on. Try not to knock over my tea. I spoke about this in my previous video, so I'm not going to talk about it. That's better. That makes me feel nice. Okay, I'm ready. Get some caffeine again. Because this next one I actually need a little bit of solace before talking about because I have some feelings. Okay. So for those, I can't remember what I've even said this video and what I've said last video. So if I'm repeating myself, my deepest apologies. It's not intentional. I just already struggled to hold thoughts in a continuous and directive way. And now that I've been talking for like the best part of like over the course of today, somewhere about 4 hours about knitting, I'm a little lost. I'm having fun getting lost, just so you know. It's fun to do this with you. But just in case you're thinking, she said that. For those of you who don't know, I was in Europe for a month, mainly Italy, for a month at the end of last year. And I'm going to talk more about that and more about my acquisitions for that in another video, because otherwise it's going to be 1,000 years long. But I did, when I was in one of the best favoritist ever places I went to, and actually I do feel like I had this dream of going to Verona. I didn't stay in Verona. I stayed in a smaller town kind of in between Bologna and Milan, but I took a trip to Verona. And if you haven't been to Verona, and if you're not particularly interested in going to Verona, that's okay. But if you are, I'm going to recommend it. It's my favorite. So far, it's my favorite city in the world. I honestly... Oh, it's hard not to go into it here. I'm going to talk about it on the other video, but it was... there are places... For me, this is a place that my soul needed to go and that my heart a little bit belongs. And I had this real intense call to go there, and I get it. Like, I went and I was like, oh, okay, cool. It was like a little bit of me was just there. And I had the most incredible, magical day, which I will talk about in the other video. I feel like I'm just teasering. It's not a tactic. I just can't concentrate on all the things without going, that's the other thing. It's not a tactic. Don't watch it if you don't want to. I'm not like trying to get views or anything. I just honestly don't know how to contain. And this is my best attempt. One of the things I loved most in Europe, and Verona specifically, was the colour of the water. I don't know if this is the case everywhere. I imagine maybe it could be. In Australia, the colour of the water, particularly where I live, is quite a... I don't even know how to describe it. Quite an intense blue. I live near the ocean, and if you want an example of the blue, feel free to check out my Instagrams, because I wonder if I can show you a photo. Let me see if I can find something. But there's like, it's quite an intense blue, and it's quite I would say quite a saturated blue. And I think, let me see if I can find one for you. All right, that's a good example. Okay. I don't know if you can see this, but see what I mean? Like quite a saturated blue. Oh, I really have to learn how to do the not a glare. Okay, so that's the example I was going to give. So it's quite a tropical blue. In comparison to a lot of the places that I saw in Europe, it was more of like a sea foamy green, like an aqua turquoise. And I just couldn't get over it. It was like the orange of the stone, orange and yellow of the buildings, the terracotta-y colours, and then this like greeny, sagey almost sea foamy blue. Oh, it was just magical. So when I was doing some yarn shopping, I got to the end and I had finished knitting this, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I could just I've got about 2 weeks left. Could I just pump out a sweater? So I was shopping around. I went to a few different places, and I'll tell you all the awesome yarn shops I went to at another point, because I also did the Bologna yarn crawl, which was amazing. But when I was in Bologna towards the end, I just Googled a random yarn store that was probably like a good 15-minute walk from the station. And when I was in Bologna, I got myself in a few tricky situations, and this was one of them on the way there. But when I got there, it was this really awesome shop. I'll have to look up the name of it again. I'll put it in the comments, but I'll definitely talk about the other one in more detail. It's awesome, massive store. And I had decided I really, really wanted like a very, very fluffy sweater. Huge gauge, really open, knit that. And so I bought this yarn. This is such a ridiculous story. I bought this yarn, and I bought, I can't actually remember how many balls now, but I think I must have bought 8. Pretty sure. And I started knitting the sweater on a size 6 needle. And I bought it at the time. And I'll show you what it looks like. This is what I had. So I started doing a Felix sweater. And I started, you can kind of see a little bit, but it wasn't really coming out that great. I knit the entire fucking sweater. Like, just wait, like the entire fucking sweater. So I knit half of it before I got home, like maybe the whole body, not the sleeves. I knit the entire fucking sweater, the whole thing. I cast off the bottom, I knit one whole sleeve. I had to knit that a couple of times. I knit the other sleeve. I had like maybe a cuff and a bottom rib because I wanted to do a split hem, a bottom rib to go. And I ran out of fucking yarn. And maybe not even that much. It was like, I had like a cuff and a bit, like nothing left. And I ran out of fucking yarn. And I had already reknit the sleeves a couple of times and I was getting a little bit over it. And I wasn't really happy with how it was sitting on my body. It was too chunky. This was too wide. It just like, but I was determined. And I sat there for a bit and I put it in the corner and I was really annoyed. Because I'm like, this is my Italian Verona sweater. It's meant to have been done in Italy. I did it on purpose. It was not working and I was having some big feelings and it just was, again, another example of trying to self-will my way into a creative process. For me, this does not work. It just doesn't work. So I let it sit for a while, started another project. Actually, I finished my GL sweater, which you'll see in the last video. I think I even started another project, which I'll show you next. And then it's also worth noting, I came back in summer. This yarn is very, very sticky. In general, so sweaty. Impossible to do in Australian summer. So it was going to be fine. I just thought, look, I'll wait till it cools down. Okay. Move on. And then I thought, you know what? I could do this. I can do this. I'm going to self-draft a pattern. It's not going to be that complicated. It'll be a bottom up. There's this really cool, I'll see if I can link them. There's this really cool knitwear brand that's like, I think it's from, they're, I don't want to say Nordic, but they're like Northern European. Super cool. They do a lot of giant chunky mohair sweaters. And I was like, I can do this. I can do this. So what I did was I cast on, and I'll show you because I think they're still attached. Yeah, they are. I didn't unravel the sweater. Well, I did, as I knit the other one. So I didn't unravel it into balls. I'm not going to spend my time doing that. I don't have time for that. And also, Buddy's a nightmare. Buddy's my cat if you're not familiar. Oh yeah, you would have met him. I remember. That happened. So I had this one next to me. I also wasn't super happy with the gauge of this. It was too tight. It was just too tight. So I had this one next to me as I started knitting this one. Now this one is a bottom-up construction. You can't even really see it. It's really hard to see. Now you can see the gauge is much looser. It's messier. It's going to be a bit more grungy. Grungy might not be quite the word, but a bit more bohemian. It's a boho sweater. It's bohemian. Why can't I say that? Bohemian? There we go. It's an N at the end. I was like, why is that coming out wrong? So I did a bottom-up construction. I did a really quite long, maybe three plus inches at the back, slightly shorter one at the front. I did it on a much larger gauge needle. So I was doing a 6 before. This is a 13. Wait, sorry, 6 millimeters. This is a 9 millimeter. So it's much bigger. I went from a US 10 to a US 13. Huge, much bigger. I like the fabric significantly more. I do think blocking will help it relax a little bit. Guys, and then wait for it. I would have looked I thought for sure, I was sure I had an extra ball of this yarn. I was so sure. Now you already know the punchline because you've seen it. I was so sure. I looked everywhere. I couldn't find it. I finished the body of this. I went to pull some stuff out, and lo and behold, there's the full fucking ball. I just laughed. I went into like a laughing fit on the floor. My husband is so confused about what the heck is going on. And I realized that I've basically re-knit this sweater for no other reason. And I say no other reason because it's not for no reason. No other reason that I actually didn't really like it that much. It probably wasn't going to be something that I wore. The gauge wasn't great. The fit wasn't great. The style was bleh on me. And I honestly think that the universe was like, hide the ball, make her think she needs to redo it all again, and get her to get a sweater she actually wants to wear. And so here we are with a new sweater. And this is what I mean by, I don't regret this at all. I really don't. I wouldn't have worn the first one. It was funny. It was a little bit annoying. I wouldn't have worn the first one. I have some problems with this one. The reason I still have feelings is I have some problems with this one. And it's why it's sitting in timeout. Because it's not ready. And I feel like if I reflect on the concept of creativity as a spiritual process, I can't force it. If it's not meant to be right now, it's not going to be. Doesn't matter how much I do it. Now, do I think that I can totally sit down when I'm ready, work out the math, work out the stuff, and do it? Sure. I probably could do that quite in the first place. But for me, there's something about it where it's like when I'm trying too hard in my creative process, and I would personally argue in my life, trying is not an excellent energy for me to work in. And I'm not suggesting that apathy is the answer to that. But for me, it's like, am I flowing with the current or am I pushing against the current? And I think for me, it's like if I'm holding on, I like how knitting becomes a spiritual thing for me because it feels like I'm talking about something else. And I am talking about something else. For me, it's like I can leave claws in things that are meant to just go. And I think that there's this process that's unfolding for me at the moment, and I think maybe even on a larger scale of this like release. Like, if I think of like, oh, the wind just got all like spooky. If I feel like at the moment my mandate is get in the fucking river, and I can swim. I can make it hard. I can swim against the current. I can try and swim to the side. I can try and get out of the river. If I'm in the flow of the river, it's like I'm going there anyway. And I think for knitting, it's a little bit, for me, it's the same kind of concept. It's like a physical manifestation of that process for me, where it's like a certain level of surrender to the process and like adjustment and alignment to the process. So with this one at the moment, all of that being said, there are some things that aren't quite sitting well with me. One of them is I did a 3-needle bind off to do the neckline. I need to just double check how I feel about the width of this. It feels a bit tight. The issue is because I did a 3-needle bind off and not a sewn bind off, it's going to be a lot harder to adjust that. And I regret that a little bit. So this is something to be really aware of if you are doing a bottom-up sweater that requires seaming or a 3-needle bind off. I could have seamed this with just a really simple like mattress stitch or some kind of like just really simple, seaming. You can Google or YouTube. And I like a 3-needle bind off. I do. I like the way it finishes. So I did that. But it does now make it very, very difficult because I can't just snip one and then re-secure it. Or maybe I can. I don't know. I have to think about that harder. So I'm going to try it on again. It's okay. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think it's a deal breaker, but I think it's something that I can review. An alternate option I have is, now that it seems very, very likely I will have leftover yarn, I could frame this, I could do it nicely, and I could have this as like a special reminder of my, like, you know, like a token, like a souvenir. I don't like to hoard a lot of yarn, she says. We all know that's fucking bullshit. I don't like to unnecessarily hoard a lot of yarn, but this one could be a very special souvenir. I have mohair in the back of my throat. I can freaking feel it. Oh, guys. It's like a gift and a curse, this thing. I can really feel it. All right, well, let's see how that goes. Or, depending on how it goes, I could always pick up some stitches here and do like kind of a bit of a neck. I'm eating more. I'll go to my other drink. I have 2 drinks. .5% battery remaining. I don't know if that pauses for you or if it just seems like a weird cut, so we'll see. All right, I better keep going if there's only 5%. Anyway, so that's problem numero uno. That wasn't me trying to speak Italian, that was me speaking weird English. Second issue is I've done the I picked up stitches for the sleeves. They're too small. They fit, but then I'm not going to like them. I need them to be probably maybe 2 to 4 stitches bigger in circumference. And I honestly felt so irritated by this at this stage that I just was like, fuck you. And I put it in a corner. So I am considering this to be my Verona sweater, even though I bought the colour, guys, it's going to be lovely. Even though I bought it in Bologna, I'm thinking about it as my, you know, Verona sweater for a number of reasons. The colour is beautiful. I do think that this gauge is going to be nice. It's a little bit cropped, not super cropped, but a little bit like on me. I'm mediumly tall. I think it's going to look really nice with like a white tank top underneath, jeans and boots. Come on, we all knew. And I think it's going to be fine. I think it just, right now, this is not working for me. And rather than try and make it work, oh guys, the mohair. Rather than try and force it to work, I'm in the flow. It's a river sweater. That's what it is. This is actually I should find out what the river in Verona is called. I can't remember off the top of my head. But there was a very specific moment when I was on Ponte Pietra when it was like a spiritual experience for me, like a major spiritual experience. And this is the color of the water. And if you wanna, I have a video on my Instagram of that moment. It was just life altering. And I will speak more about it. In case you're like, can you say more? I will, I promise. I just don't want to do it for people who are just here for the knitting. I'm going to pick this back up. It needs to drop a few degrees. And I also need to like spiritually tune in. Okay? If you have any suggestions / input / comments, I'm open to them. But yeah, this is going to come off, and all I have to do is just do the sleeves, and I'm going to do them I'm going to kind of do them, I think I'm going to do them long and straight. I have 2 options. I'm going to do them long and straight, like my other one. Beautiful. I could also maybe do with like a long ribbing. I could also do a little balloony sleeve, where it's like straight, and then maybe even just stitch it at the end. And maybe even do like a, what is that thing called? Like an I-cord bind off, like I did on my ranunculus. My mohair ranunculus. Considerations. I do love it. It's currently a complicated relationship. All right. This is my favourite whip at the moment. I am so close to being finished this. I'm a little bit sad I didn't finish it in advance of this, but let's be honest, I had 1,000 finished objects. This is also a project that I honestly don't want to finish it because it's so beautiful that I don't want to finish it. I don't want to finish it, but I also really want to wear it. So this is... I'm just going to show you the yarn first, okay? Let's just all settle down. Mostly me. I'm going to show you the yarn. So I know that every podcast I talk about Jackie and Carmen. I'm aware of that. I'm sorry. I just love them. And I just do. And they're from Knitting a Good Yarn podcast, in case you haven't heard me say it 1,000 times before. And now that we're international knitting best friends, we were like, do we need some Sonder Yarn Co? And I don't know if you know this, in Australia, currently it's very hard to get your hands on. Now, Sonder Yarn Co is my, if I could knit with one brand for the entire rest of my life, if right now at this moment you said to me, all right, Alex, you got one brand for the rest of your life. It's not going to ever get discontinued or anything. They're not going to close. You get one brand for the rest of your life. Make your choice right now. Sonder Yarn Co, hands down. And I can't access it here. So thank God. Over here. So I have some very sweet Canadians who will occasionally send me a package. And look, you can, if you're Australian, you can, or used to be able to, I don't know if you can right now, you can get a small portion of their line through Esisode Co. It's not a very wide range, but it's better than nothing. I do, since the conception of Sonder Yarn Co, I have been like every so occasionally hounding with an email, please would you mind maybe opening up some international shipping? But I understand it must be very expensive and packages go missing. I would just like to have it, but I completely understand that there's probably a very good reason. If they ever do, Lord help my bank account. Like, Christ. And also, you'll be bored because all I'm ever going to do is knit in Sonder Yarn Co. And I do love a few others, but I really love it. So I hadn't tried their Sunday morning range. And, well, now I have. So I ordered a Easy Like Sunday morning kit, and I've got the DK Sunday morning DK in the colorway Bubble Bath, and then I have the Halo, which is their 72% mohair, 28% silk, which I love. This is my favorite mohair on the planet. And I would say including La Bien-Aimée, but La Bien-Aimée is a very similar feel. But this is my favorite. This wins in Grand Ballet, and this I didn't say with the DK is 75% BFL and 25% Massam. I'm not convinced I'm saying that correctly, but I'm just trying to remember how people said it, and I think that's it. I believe it's a silent H. This is beautiful. Now, I must admit, it's not showing up a bit strangely. It's showing up very oat on the camera. To me, in person, it's slightly more peach, but not as peach as I had originally thought. And you know what I realised? And you guys might have been way smarter than me and realised this already. There's an OPI nail colour called Bubble Bath that's basically this. And I don't think that was an accident. But it took me a while to work that out. So I ordered a size 5, which came with 4 skeins of the DK and 3 skeins, wait, 4 of the DK and 3 of the Halo. I still currently have 2 full skeins left over, but I want you to know I knit a size 3. I've ordered a size 5, I've ordered a size 3. And I didn't know that I was going to do that, but there was a number of things that occurred that changed that meant that the size 3 was going to be a better fit for my body. I will show you where I'm up to. So I ummed for a long time because I was like, am I really going to knit? I wasn't sure again about the Sunday morning, easy like Sunday morning pattern. I was concerned about the thicker, what's that thing called? Neckline, and having a big bust. Sometimes I feel like when you're already a little bit proportionately, what's the best way to say this? Proportionately bigger on the top, that's just the truth. I was like, do I really want to draw attention to that? Like, is it going to be like too bulky and it's going to feel too intense? And I so almost didn't knit this sweater. And then I did see a number of versions on Jackie and Carmen. And I just thought, like, sure, I could knit another plain lento, which I love the lento. Please don't think I'm dissing it. I've just got 3. I could knit another one of those. I could knit another raglan sweater. I'm sure I would use it. But, like, what if we just risk it? And if we hate it, we just undo the sweater. We've just done it 3 times with the other ones. Like, it's gonna be okay. Why don't we just do it, see if we like it, wear it for a bit. And this is a big... Goodness. What a roller coaster today's filming has been. So my iPad died. It is alive again. I'm not completely sure where I was up to. What I remember is I think I was just about to show you my easy like Sunday morning sweater. Fingers crossed. There is a part of me going, if I really cared, I would have actually looked. But I think it's fine. I've got a steaming hot cup of tea here. Oh, good gracious. And it's in a, it's in one of those like metal campfire mugs. I really love them. I feel like I need to just land back in here. I just did a meditation. It was beautiful. So it's probably quite a drastic change in energy. Because from memory, I was like caffeinated and like on it before, and now I'm like, oh, I just did like a nice good 20, I don't even know how long I was meditating for, but a bit of a one. So just acknowledging that major shift in energy, and just maybe taking some time to just adjust that for yourself. Oh, Buddy is still, I was wondering where he was. He's still asleep in the washing basket. Cute. All right, so I'm not entirely sure where I was up to. What I recall is I was talking about my Easy Like Sunday morning sweater. The Sonder yarn is my favoritist yarn. That sweet Jackie sent me a packet. And maybe to like ease our way into that. I'm not acquisitioning here. I'm not. But this is not really an acquisition in a sense. Wait, where's this little tag gone? That's all right, hang on. I'm gonna find his little tag before I show him. I will show him the acquisitions because I want to find his little tag and it must have fallen off in the bag. I can just quickly find him. Guys, it's all a bit hectic. Yeah, see it is. It was right there. Okay, I knew. So I will show it now. So Sweet Jackie of Knitting a Good Yarn, still the same one, not a different one, also sent in the package her beautifully spun yarn. Look. Oh, eat that a little loaf. Oh. So this is Sweet Viola. She's a Cormo cross. And Jackie spun it with love, very especially for me. And if you're familiar with the Knitting a Good Yarn podcast, and if you're not, I would recommend it. They did a beautiful, really fun, like speed date spin. Now I'm not a spinner. Do I think at some point I will need to get myself into spinning? 100%. 100%. I did, when I was living in Tamworth, I did do a class with, the name is escaping me, but there's quite a well-known online spinning school. And the person who runs it happened to live an hour out of Tamworth. And she offered classes. And so I went and had a class at her house. She was amazing. And so I have spun. And I have it somewhere. It's not as easy as I had thought. We're using now please forgive the fact that I have no idea of the terminology, but I think it's called a double treadle wheel. Coordination was a little difficult. I think I could do it. I do think an e-spinner might be the go, but I love the idea. I love the idea of a wheel. At some point this is in my life. I can just feel it in my soul because I want the giant loaves. I love yarn loaves. I love them. And there seems to be a lot of plumpy loaves involved in spinning. And then they turn into yarn. So Sweet Viola was one of the blends that was the speed date for Mr. Bond, I believe. Anyway, if it wasn't that, they were definitely on a speed date, and I loved Viola because the way that Jackie and Carmen did it, I'm just gonna like real quick in a minute because you can go check it out yourself, it might not be a thing. They did it like a dating show, but because they're both therapists, which I'm also a therapist, they described like psychologically how they felt like the yarn breeds, like the yarn fibers were, and how they matched with Mr. Bond. I believe this would be like interesting and fun and hilarious for any human being. But because I'm also a therapist and a yarn enthusiast, fucking right up my alley. In fact, I'm gonna go back and rewatch it. I'm gonna do reruns because it was so fun. And Sweet Viola, I'm gonna go back and consider her characteristics, but I remember that as it was going, I'm sending Jackie like voice notes going, that's me. She's me. I feel a deep affinity with her and she's me. And now I have her. So here's the thing, I never want to use this because it's the most special, beautiful yarn, and I would like to like have it on a shelf as like a decoration and just like the glow in the love and the warmth of it, because I can feel the intention in this. And then there's this other part of me that's like, but if I could put it like it's color work in like the most amazing sweater, or I could like wear it on my body. So I'm not ruling out that I would actually use this. It would be for, because I also have a very, I can't know for sure, but I feel pretty damn confident that Jackie would love it to be used. She'd love it to be plomped and snuggled. I think that's fine. I don't think there's any pressure, but I feel pretty confident that, and I just think this would be beautiful as a color work in the sweater. And she's very kindly put that there's 114 yards, which is so delightfully specific, which is very much like Sweet Jackie, but I love that. I don't know how you would possibly work that out. That seems like voodoo to me, but I'm cool with it. She is magical, so it checks out. She probably just looked at it and went, yep, 114 yards. It's probably bang on. So what I love most about this, well, okay, all of the intention and jackiness beside, but about the fibre specifically, is there is something velvety. And there's a kind of like pearlescent nature to it. And oh, it's just ridiculous. So I am very dust lucky. I hope this isn't gonna be my thumbnail. I always forget to take one and then I'm like, shit, this is it. I am just very lucky, and oh guys, the butteriness. Maybe I just need to like manifest myself an e-spinner. Put it on the list. Ooh. Thank you, Jackie. All right, come on, I'll show you the sweater now. You're all dying to see it. So I think I was somewhere in between talking about the neckline. It's perfect. Now I do want to get some, here, look, I'll just show you. Good God, woman. I mean, oh, come on. I'm still, oh, look, guys. Now this I'm going to block out. I want it to block out heavily. I don't want it to be a cinched sleeve. I want it to be a straight sleeve. But I knitted it down to make it neater. If it has to be a slightly cinched sleeve, I'll live with it. But my genuine intention is to block like a mofo and have it be a straight sleeve. We'll see. We shall see. But the neckline is, I have never done a folded hem of any description, and I can guarantee you, a folded hem, a folded neckline, I guarantee you I'll be doing it again. This is delightful. I was worried about the colour. I was worried it would wash me out. And Jackie did have a similar conversation about a rose gold colour for herself, and I've decided, fuck it. First of all, I mean, I don't really care that much. Second of all, it's fine. I think it's fine. Jeans and boots. The blue will help. I am just starting the second cuff. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have a short, small circular and a 4.5 for the cuff, because I've gone down a couple of needle sizes just to keep the ribbing really, really neat. I did so the body's knit in a 6. I knit the ribbing for the neckline and the hem in a 5.5 or a 5 maybe. Check my Ravelry page, I wrote it down. Whatever they recommended to do it in, I did that. I actually followed the pattern. For this, I actually followed the pattern. I think I might have done slightly less. What I did do is I did a smaller size, and I do think I did a little bit less raglan increases. So this is normally a very, very, very dropped. No, hang on. There's a lot of positive ease in it's suggested in the pattern, and there's often a very deep raglan. That's where I was going with that. I have less of a deep raglan and less positive ease. I'll see how I feel about that. I went with it because I tend to oversize. It's a little bit of a body dysmorphia side effect, where it's like I don't really have a good sense, so I tend to oversize because I don't want it to be too small. So it's a little bit body, some kind of leftover body dysmorphia, but it's also a little bit of anxiety about not wanting to get in there and then have it be too small. I'd rather it be slightly too big. But the issue that I've been having recently is because I've changed sizes, that I'm generally unclear about what size I am, but I was worried I would knit this way too big and then it'd be unwearable, because I've got a couple of sweaters that are now quite big, and they're like almost, they come off my shoulder a bit. So this is lovely. I was a bit nervous about this, but I think I'm actually cool with it. What I think I will do is I think I will get some clear, what's it called? Elastic, and just run it through for some extra support. It's fine. Like when I put it on, it sits really nicely, but just to give it some extra support and for longevity, I just think it'll be, I love it so much that it's worth the extra effort. I've never done it before with anything, but I think that it's going to be well worth it. And so it's not really to tighten it up so much as it is just to keep it from getting floppy with use. So I'm so close. Now, a decision I made, which I may or may not change, I'm really open to how this goes, is to not split the hem. The pattern doesn't split the hem. I have noticed that I tend to prefer a split hem, Because what happens to me is sometimes when it's not a split hem and there's not enough positive ease, or there's a little bit of, it's a little bit more fitted to my body shape, is with where it naturally kind of creates a bit of a bubble around my lower stomach. That is an area that I naturally feel a little bit more self-conscious about. Naturally, I mean generally, not naturally like you should do, but naturally like I just tend to feel a bit more self-conscious about that area of my body. And so what I've noticed is when I have a split hem, that effect doesn't get accentuated and it feels more comfortable for me. With this, I thought, let's just try it. It's not really gonna hurt if I do it like this, wear it for a bit, and then pull it out and do a split hem. I just did it with another sweater. So I had a Felix sweater that I knit in Let Lopi. What's that brand? You'll know. They're Icelandic. Anyway, Let Lopi. You can Google it. I also have a Ravelry page. I'm Serenity Knits 23 on Ravelry in case you want to look up any of those things. I've been like, I have a Ravelry page. And I had done, yeah, like just a normal like hem around. And yeah, that's what it was doing. And I just didn't like it. It just started to make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I noticed that it kind of bubbled a little bit and I stopped wearing it. And it occurred to me that it would take absolutely no time at all, you know, a couple of days, to just re-knit the hem with a split hem and then it'll be fine. So I've done it and I'm thrilled and I think it looks great and I think I'll wear it way more. So this winter I'm looking forward to seeing how I wear that around. So with this one I had the same thing where I'll just see how it goes. I also thought with this one the Let Lopi is a lot, when I say stiffer, not really, but it holds a bit more shape. It doesn't have drape. It's kind of a bit more structured, I suppose. Whereas this one, because of the silk content, is just so redinky-donk drapey, like you can see. And it's not tight to my body in any way, shape or form. Like it's just kind of skimming the outside. And I think that will give me a little bit more. So I'm just going to see how it goes. I'll, again, do some finished object photos when I'm done. And I would just like to wear it for a little bit and see how it goes. And the same goes for these sleeves. If when I block this out, if I feel like I'm not getting the result I want, this might have been the rant I was about to go on, right when it cut off. Worthwhile rant, don't get me wrong. If after a while of wearing it, this is not working out, it's not staying out here, or I just decide I like it or whatever, I can also just rip them out and do them again. And maybe this is where I was going before, that I really encourage, and if it's not your thing, totes cool, but consider, like, for me it's like I love the practice of knitting, so having to rip something out, as frustrating as it is sometimes, what if that were just part of the process? Like, I like the knitting, and yes, I want to get to the end and I want to have a project and I want to have a product, but like, would it be that big of a deal? Like, I like the knitting. It's not like I have to do, and don't get me wrong, there are some projects where you're just like, oh my God, it's color work knitting on toothpicks. Like, please don't make me rip this out. And you know, that's what swatchering's for, and you know, sometimes it happens. But generally speaking, I suppose what I'm trying to say is, it's not diffusing a bomb. If I get it wrong, if it doesn't work, if I don't like it, it's okay. Like, we could just rip it out. And I suppose that's something that I would like to offer, is that, like, you know, there might be an opportunity to consider, like, is there a knit that I don't wear because there's something really small about it that I just don't like and I could fix it really easily. Like, if I was to just rip back a sleeve, or, you know, does it need like an extra 2 or 3 centimeters to the hem? Whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, is there an opportunity to, do I have a jumper that I never ever wear, but the yarn is beautiful? Could I just rip the whole thing out, or maybe ask a delightful yarny friend to rip it out for you if you can't quite bring yourself to do it, and use it, you know, like, and this is not an imperative. If you don't want to do any of that, don't worry. It's not a moral thing, but it's kind of like a for me, it's like these untapped potentials of some of the things that are in my wardrobe. And not all things are like that. So, you know, like I had a sweater, didn't quite work. It was a good sweater, but I gave it to my mum, you know, rehomed. It might have been for her in the first place. To be honest, it's her perfect colour. So it might have actually just been for her. But I suppose this is something I think about, that when I take the pressure off getting a product to fit perfectly the first time, it helps me to be a bit more adventurous with my knitting and to try out things I might not have tried. So for example, I really didn't think this was going to suit me, this neckline, and actually I really like it. So I'm going to wear it for a bit and see how it goes. Anyway, these are my thoughts. I'm so close. I also think this is cute. I also like the idea that, you know, I might roll them. It's adorable. This yarn is just magnificent. I mean, it's beautiful. I honestly think this could be one of the most beautiful things I've ever knit. Sonder Yarn Co. just consistently produces phenomenal bases in incredible colorways with just stunningly sophisticated and elegant patterns. I mean, yeah, they're just fucking geniuses. They just get yarn. They get yarn, they get color. And I think the word I would use for them is elegance. There is just a really sophisticated, elegant quality to what they produce. And I think that I think it's quality. I think that that's part of the elegance of it. There's a quality to what they produce, and the tones of the colors that they produce are, you know, you could produce a very similar color palette and it doesn't just quite have the elevated quality that theirs does. So I feel, P.S. none of this is like, just so you know, not a brand ambassador. I just love them. I just think they're wonderful. I don't know any of them. Every single product I have used from them, every pattern that I have, knitted. The one of the owners used to be the the designer behind Esisode. So if you're not familiar with the patterns, you want to check them out. They do have some on their website. You can also get a whole bunch of free patterns off Esisode. So I've knit the Fleur shawl. I've knit the what else have I knit from them? I've knit is it like the Sunday morning shawl? I've knit a shawl from them, another shawl from them. I've knit the Bright Side pullover. I've got a few. I've knit this cowl. I can't remember the name of it, but it's got like 3 stripes on it, and it's knit using Rowan something. Anyway, that's definitely on my Ravelry page, so if you want to check that out, it's beautiful. But they're like, so just, you know, like those patterns are incredibly sophisticated. They're beautiful. They're very, very simple, and a lot of them are free. In fact, I think most of them are free. So I'd love to knit the Turtle Dove sweater. That is really up there for me. Yeah, that's probably my next Sonder-esque. It is the designer is from Sonder, but it's an Esisode pattern. But it's probably my next Sonder experience. Melissa Clulow is the designer, and she's also the face behind Sonder Yarn Co. Yeah, they're phenomenal. And if I just had to, like, if I had to declare loyalty right now for the rest of my days, I feel pretty safe. I feel pretty safe. I feel pretty safe. I'm so excited for this. I want to be done now. I want to wear it now. If I can finish this, I'm actually going out to dinner tonight, and there's a part of me going, could I get it done before then? No. I could if I wasn't filming for 4 hours today, but I feel like I could film some of these things on another day, but it's just not gonna. I'm in the flow. I'm here with you all, and I want to be here. That is that. All right. Tea. This is my camp mug. Because life's an adventure. therapist slash slogan maker. Gift card writer. Okay. What else have we got? Just having a quick little look in my project bags. Haven't continued with that so far. Okay, we could be getting towards the just want to make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, I've got a free project bag. When I say free, I mean like empty. These are my beautiful ones from the Bed of Roses. I was gifted these almost 2 years ago now. I love them. They are still my favorite ones. All of my projects bar one is in because they're amazing. Oh, it's a project I haven't started yet. This is another good example of something I'm going to undo. I'm almost 85% sure. I knit this mitten a while back, 2 years ago or something. I love the colour, nothing wrong with it. It's just not really, I mean, it's cute, but it's a bit big. I could find someone with bigger hands and knit the other one, but I think more likely what I'm going to do is probably just undo it. I don't know, every time, this is why I haven't undone it. Because I put it on and I go, oh, it's pretty cute. I could put some like little, embroidered flowers on it. Be pretty cute. I've even blocked it and everything. But I also thought, you know, like, I love this colour. Wouldn't this make a lovely sweater? I'd like a sweater in this colour. It's a Biche Bouche. I've only got one ball. But see how it's just, yeah, it's gapey. It's not right. So I feel like I pull this out. I either knit a better, like a pair of mittens that's going to be a better fit for me. Hey, that reminds me. Aspetta. That reminds me. I have another whip. Because I was thinking, because it's just like the other one I made. So you might notice a slight similarity. But I'm going to undo this one, okay? So this is another example. Not working, don't want to finish it, doesn't really make sense. I'll just undo it and use the yarn for something else. So, great example of that. But the reason I'm saying that is actually, the reason I went, oh wait, hang on, is because while I was in Europe, I also bought this beautiful, I bought this one from Florence, actually. 100% alpaca. It is just fucking ridiculously soft. I know you can't have philo vision, but can you just imagine? So I knitted this on a teeny little toothpick. I think it was like 2 millimeters. There's some, I just made up this pattern. When I say made up, I just, I've knitted enough mittens to just guesstimate the deal. And I wanted to make them so they were super long to fit under a sweater. And then they're light enough that they're very tropical, weather friendly, that it's like, it's not going to be too, like, it does get cold here. It gets down to like, you know, 7 degrees, but not like cold, but cold enough that a little light mitten might be nice. So I'm going to need to put a little thumb on it. It's got twisted rib. It's got quite a long cuff. And then it's got some twisted rib at the top, and I'm pretty confident that what I've done is, in learning from that one, so that's the other thing, is I've learnt from the previous pattern, is I've decreased along here. I can't see where I've decreased because it's a very dark one, but I must have, because it feels much tighter at the top, which I would have done on purpose. This is delightful. I'd like to knit the other one. I'd really like to actually have these. I like a fingerless mitt. I do actually use them pretty often, and when I was working, because when you get out in the morning and it's cold and you're driving, it's nice to have like a little bit of something. And then I also like that I just like, you know, for me, I just pop my little fingers in. It's just, you know, if you're like at a football game or something. My husband plays football, so sometimes I go. He hasn't played for a while, actually. So yeah, that's my mitten. And this was cheap as chips. Like, what if that's an Australian saying? Probably not. It was super inexpensive, like from memory, and I'm sure I've got it on a ball band somewhere. From memory, this was hang on, I've got it right here. Where is it? Because I also bought a pink one and I don't, oh. Okay, I can't tell you how much. Oh, look, I've even got the, look at me, I'm so smart, I even put them in there. So, look, I don't know what a gram ball, I'll put it in the thing. It was local alpaca from Florence. Quite a big ball. I've already got one mitten. It was like $8. It's nothing. So inexpensive. And actually, this fabric is so stunning, that even though it would take you a fucking millennia, I would knit a sweater out of this. It would take you a genuine millennia. I'd do it anyway. It's beautiful. It would be pretty inexpensive because it's like at least, yeah. It is, that's just, like store-bought cashmere doesn't feel that good. Ridiculous. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, and so the other thing I'm working on, and again, this was just like a really random project. So my local yarn store is, it's a little wee bit crushed because I've been using it, is Knit Happens at Murwillumbah. And I say local like they're not an hour away, but they're local-ish, you know? And the lovely Karen there is just delightful, and I highly recommend if you're in the area or you're going to make a little trip. Murwillumbah's a lovely town, so you just make a trip and have a nice coffee day and check out the art gallery and pop into Knit Happens. And for my trip, I had decided I was going to, on the plane, knit a Tolster tee. And I got halfway through that too, and then decided it was not working and I needed to rip it out. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's this whole own story. I want to be really clear. I'm sure the Tolster tee pattern was excellent. I have nothing against the pattern. I don't think cotton and I work very well for t-shirts. I keep trying to knit t-shirts. I've tried bamboo. I've tried cotton. I don't think we're friends. I think I'm a wool person. I think I could do a linen wool or a cotton wool, or even I'm going to try 100% silk at some point. It's not the pattern, it was what I used. Now, in saying that, I love this type of cotton. It's the Fibra Natura, pretty sure. It's beautiful. It's 100% organic cotton. I love this cotton. I don't like cotton. I like this cotton. I don't like cotton. I like this cotton. It just, combination wasn't working. So I had fuck tons of, like, literally, of this natural cotton. And I was like, what am I gonna do with this thing? And then I had quite a few, because I made a few like face washes and stuff out of the same brands, like I've got a few colors of it. So I decided to just, I tried a few like granny square patterns. I tried out a few different kinds. I didn't really like any of them. Wondering if that's my husband getting home. This is gonna be the most stop-start video ever. Good gravy. Anyway, I couldn't really decide. If it is, I'll have to go and I'll come back, I promise. I couldn't decide what I wanted to do with it, so I just started making up something. And I came up with this cute little guy and this cute little guy. And so what I'm gonna do is very, very slowly, and I'd like a wee bit of accountability with this, because I would love to knit a blanket. Now, I do actually think that my half and half triangles wrap is a blanket. I think it counts. But this is my little crochet blankie project. And so I'm going to knit, I have one other color, but I can't find any of them here. I have quite a few, and I'm going to just put a whole bunch together and then join them. I'm just going to do it till I run out of yarn. And then if I need more yarn to make it bigger, by all means. They're adorable. It is my husband. Christ almighty. Righto, friends. I will be back. Hello! Okay. So what you can't know because of the magic of YouTube is it has been about 5 days since I said, I'll be back. She was not back. She was never back. And, Lord, But I wanted to get back to, ironically, Buddy's actually gone back into the basket. So he's recreating this. He's very committed to recreating the scene. I wanted to get back and just finish off the video because rather than start it all over again, I'll just finish it off. So I was discussing, this is how life works, sweet friends. It's just how it's going. I was discussing my blanket project. Now, I haven't actually worked on this for quite a while, and not even just the last 5 days, I mean like before that. I don't want this to be a project that just sits in a corner and never gets done. However, I also am very committed to not making myself do, like, it's meant to be fun. Craft is fun. So I'm not going to make myself do something I don't want to do. So look, I've got quite a few of them. We'll just see how we go. Sometimes I just need a bit of a break. And I am in between projects. So I did, and I'll show you because why not, a little bonus. I did finish in the last few days my Sonder Yarn Co. Easy Like Sunday Morning sweater. Now I haven't blocked it, so I'm hoping what's going to happen here, these are my little sleeves. I'm hoping what's going to happen here is I'm going to block it on a day, today would have been good actually, I didn't know it was going to be warm, and they're going to be straight-ish. I actually wore this the other day and there is a slight chance that I will rip these out and make it longer, because when I put some elastic in the neckband, and when I did that, the sleeves sit, like they come to just where a sleeve should come to, but I actually want them a little bit longer, and I think that once they're blocked and once they're straight, it might have more of a vibe. It also is just slightly cropped, which I quite like. So what I'm going to do is, I quite like, but also it means I have to tuck my like t-shirt in underneath, and then sometimes it's a bit of hassle. So look, I'm just gonna trial it. The neckband, the neckline is just, I'm obsessed. I'm very happy with a bit of elastic. I think that's going to help it hold up a little bit for me. And then, yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I just want to make sure, because it is so beautiful, if I have to rip it back and add a couple of inches to anywhere on this sweater, I have no issues doing it. Would I prefer it to be great right now? Absolutely. Absolutely I would. But I'm so hot. I thought I was trying to put on something, but it's 28 degrees. I was trying to put on a shawl, but I can't do it, friends. I can't. I can't. I'm more than happy to rip it out and do it again, because it's such a beautiful yarn. It's such a beautiful yarn to work with. It would be such a shame if I just had to fiddle with it whenever I wore it. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, that is the end of this video, friends. I'm going to wrap it up there. I know it was real quick, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go straight into filming my acquisitions and reminisce over Italy and just get straight into it, because these moments are few and far between. And if I can just, like, I came back from Italy in October. I'm gonna forget what happened. No, I won't. We all know I won't. It was so magical. But to be honest, the truth is that if I'm not careful, I could end up back in Italy in a couple of months, and I'll have 2 trips to tell you about. So I have every intention of being in Italy again, kind of September, October of this year. There is the Florence Yarn Festival. I'm sure it's called something else specifically, but yeah, this could be a thing. This might be my thing. This might be my new personality, is can't possibly go to an Australian. I'm sure the Australian events are amazing. I was going to try and get to the one in Canberra, the Australian Yarn Show, but the dates just didn't line up, and apparently the dates line up in Italy a bit better. So, you know, maybe next year will be Canada or Scotland, or yeah, I don't know if it was the city or whatever, but I feel like there's a chance I could end up in Scotland for a period. I'm not sure. Just have a little feeling. All right, friends. Thanks for hanging in there for this one. I'm thrilled about it. Yeah. I'll see you soon. Bye.